Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday morning, last day of November from 2022. We're going to have a good session today because today we're going to learn how to relax. We're going to learn how to chill. And this is not how to make money online video or anything like this. You've been doing that stuff all year long. We've got to learn how to really take care of ourselves. So that's what this video is about today. Don't forget, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button down there, turn it from red to gray. Don't forget to ring the bell. Turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or if I upload a video. So we got a lot going on, don't we? We've got, I just had my daughter and her three sons. Two of them are almost 3 years old and one of them's 5-year-old. And boy, that's a lot of energy going on. Okay. And then she brought her husband too. And it was very hectic. I love seeing her and the kids run around. We had a great time, but all of these things you guys deal with, right? You deal with, your family, you deal with your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is, you got to deal with a lot of stuff. And come December, it all kind of comes together into this big mess. And we've got to learn how to kind of handle that and channel it. Now, you may have some questions, you may have some comments. Don't forget to put it in that chat section there off to the side. If you're not watching this live, then you'll want to put it in the comment section below. I come back, I answer all of those. I just went through a bunch of them yesterday. And I love to hear from you guys. I really do. It's awesome to connect with you. It's awesome to hear your opinions and your thoughts and all that good stuff. And that's what this channel is all about. It's really about starting, running, and growing your online business and really handling our lives a little bit better. Okay, so that's what we cover here. Let me get a sip of my tea before I get going. Well, we got a lot going on. I bet you've got a lot going on, don't you? If you have something going on you think is interesting, you can put it in that chat section. Work deadlines are really up on top of you right now. Your social life is probably going to step up a little bit more for the holidays. So you're going to be required to be more different places. And if you're feeling like you're totally drained of energy, as though the year is kind of hobbling to a close, you couldn't feel worse equipped to face some of these things at this time of year. Okay, that's the tough part. You may be experiencing what they call year-end burnout. People get it. It's a real thing. It's actually recognized by the World Health Organization as an occupational phenomenon, right? Burnout is a state of physical, mental, and emotional exhaustion, okay? It explains psychotherapists turned executive coach, people like that who just have so much on them. It can be caused by too much stress, too many demands placed on an individual. And a lot of times we do this to ourselves. Sometimes it's external, but sometimes we do it to ourselves. But oftentimes burnout is the result of ongoing stress that builds up over a prolonged period of time. So it may not just be the one thing. I remember I read an interview with Will Smith, which we all know who Will Smith is now if you didn't before. But he said that he had a build up of tension in him that had been building up for years, and he snapped that night that he slapped Chris Rock. No excuses whatsoever, but people do really experience this stuff. So why is it so pronounced at the end of the year? Why is it at the end of the year? Well, with summer holidays now, a memory for all of us. It's been several months since our last extended break from work. Maybe we haven't had a vacation in a while. You throw into the mix the often overwhelming workload of December, and we rush to finish projects before the end of the year. So much we want to get done before the end of the year, right? And we sign off as much as we can before, right? We want to get as much as we can done before the end of the year, before we take on this new year, because we know there's going to be new projects and new things to do. So it really is hardly, let's see here. Just saw Paul popped in there. Let's see what he's got to say. He says, love all the content here. Thank you so much, Paul. You're so kind. You're so helpful. I think it's like you said, make time for health or you'll be making time for illness. Absolutely. And that is very, very true. I try to do that. I try to do it 5 days a week. I don't always succeed. And that's another thing I'm going to kind of add for today. just because you plan to do a whole lot of things, whether it's exercise or eating right or whatever, if you screw up along the way and you mess up and you make an accident or you don't do what you're supposed to do, it doesn't mean you need to quit. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that, you screwed up or whatever it is. Paul says, I like how you have used both discipline and routine to take care of both business and health. Yeah, I was talking to somebody about that the other day about exercise. And exercise is something we all hate doing. I think it's very rare that you have a person who says, man, I love to exercise. I can't wait to get to the gym. I have a son like that. Now he's a bodybuilder and he's in great shape, and he meal plans and he weighs out his food and does all that, but he's an abnormality. Okay. He's not the average person. The average person can't wait to get up and get to the gym and work out. That's just not true. For most of us, it's stuff that we just know we have to do. But if you don't make time for it, like Paul said, then you're going to have to make time for illness. It is a way to stave off illness. I was at the gym day before yesterday, and there was a guy there, and he looked like he was probably, early 50s, something like that. Really good shape. I mean, just cut, fit, looked very healthy. Had gray hair, but he took care of himself. So we were there working out, and we got into some conversation. I can't remember what it was, but he told me he was 70 years old. I was like, wow, I was 70 years old. I would have never guessed that. And I said I was 63, and he says, don't blink. Don't blink, because it's coming so fast. So, with that onset of age, and we're all going to have it if we're lucky, right? We're lucky to be getting older. You're going to have things go wrong, especially if you don't work out. So you got to do that. Now, throw into the mix that you have like an overwhelming workload in December, okay? We want to get so much done. It's ridiculous. It's not surprising that the final stretch of a year, right, can feel like a slog, okay? There was a 2015 survey from an insurance provider, MetLife. I think they have the little birdie thing, MetLife does. They found that 42% of employees see December as the most stressful month of the year. So for the most wonderful time of the year, it's the most stressful time of the year. So don't feel bad about it. You're not the only one that's feeling this right now. You may even be retired, or you may not be working. Maybe you're at home, you're a housewife or house husband or whatever it may be, and you still feel terrible stress. It affects us all. It really does. There's other factors that can stir up these emotions, including financial pressures. Okay. We have to spend a lot more money in December, right? Family conflict. You're going to be around your family more. You probably get more conflict. A feeling of isolation that occurs if you don't have family around, right? If you see all these other people and they have these gatherings of people, and maybe you don't have that. The end of the year can also prompt us to unlock and ruminate on a lot of regrets and milestones missed, things that we should have done that we haven't done. Becoming a filter, eating healthier, or maybe getting a new job. Maybe we didn't do all these things that we wanted to do, and it magnifies another year gone by in our life that maybe we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. And it can bring on feelings of anxiety about getting old. That's another thing. We all look at it and we go, oh my God, we're getting old. I'm getting that much closer to death. So that's a scary thing. In other words, this period is really a bunch of pressures. It's a bunch of expectations. And at one point or another, we typically are our most tired, okay? So today in this session, I want to talk about things that you can do to fix these things. Let's see here. I'm going to get back here to Paul for 1 second here. He's got another comment in there. Let's see what I got. There it is. I'm going to click on that one. It says, I'm reminded of the need for discipline when I remember you coming from working out and I was going to breakfast. Yeah, that was on the ship. Gosh, how many years ago was that, Paul? Put that in there. I don't remember. Was it 2016, 17? I don't remember how many years ago it was. It was a while. He also says, I feel having a plan as well as a schedule helps decrease stress and proactive versus reactive. Yeah, like when I set up these lives with you guys, it gives me someplace to be, right? It gives me something to do. And it also puts a requirement on me. It says, hey, you've got to prepare something. You got to have something worthwhile for these people. And you got to step up your game a little bit. So some of these things put pressures on you. So we may not have the most perfect timing at the end of the year, and burnout can cause your productivity to go down, and then you feel even worse about it, right? You feel drained at every point that you do things on your list or you miss things on your list, and you feel like it's kind of spiraling out of control. The prefrontal cortex, which is associated with working memory and decision making, is believed to be impaired by prolonged stress. So if you're not thinking as clearly, it could be because you've had all this stress on you. You may lose focus and you may struggle with time management. It may be harder to schedule this stuff and set this stuff up. So that's another thing that we look at. So what can you do? What can you do to alleviate the impact of all this burnout and this stress as the year comes to an end? How can you make small changes that will ease your stress in the long term? So I actually read what some experts said on this subject. I didn't want to just say, oh, I know all the answers, because I don't. Finding time for things you enjoy is essential to balanced and productive life, according to one psychiatrist I was reading about. She said, actually, too often people will allow their work to consume them completely, leaving no time for leisure or relaxation. You've got to make time for that. And I've got to make time to take a sip of this tea right here. It's good tea. I got some new tea today from HEB. Got some chai tea. So it's important to take time each day for yourself. I do that at the gym. I take time for myself there. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, I got to get so many other things done. I got to get this done. I got to get that done. I don't have time for the gym. But then I realize that's my time. That's the time I've got to spend doing it. Now, the other day I cut it short. My wife was sick and I wanted to come home and make her a decent meal. So I didn't do my aerobic stuff. And I had a little bit of guilt, but I'm like, hey, I can't always do everything I want to do. But by doing this, taking this time for yourself, it's going to help you maintain your focus and energy, throughout the day, which is what you need to do. You want to lower that overall daily stress. Hey guys, feel free to use that chat. I know Paul's using it, but all of you guys feel free to jump in there and use that chat section, or if it's not the chat section, the comment section, if you're not watching live. Paul says, also, when you quit eating crap, boy, we're all guilty of that, Paul, all of us, and processed food loaded with chemicals, things get better. Okay, except pizza. Pizza has all the food groups. Yeah, that's pretty true, but maybe not the right quantities or processed properly. And I like pizza too, don't get me wrong. So what you want to do, all right, this is what we want to do. We want to get down to what we can do. Ensure that you spend 15 minutes reading before bedtime, making time to make a phone call to a friend or family, booking a yoga class, after work. Try scheduling these activities into your calendar. That means that you're more likely to stick to them. I think a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to go to the gym if I have time at the end of today. I really want to go. So if I have time at the end of today, I'm going to go. It won't work out. You've got to just schedule it and say, this is one of the things I'm going to do. I've been looking at this book, this novel, and this is one of the things I want to read. I've been wanting to see that movie. This is one of the things I'm going to do. I'm going to go see that movie. Next thing, I would say, voice your opinions. Opening up about your situation can really help you pinpoint exactly where the stress is actually coming from. And you can actually lessen the load by actually just talking a little bit. Talk about how you're feeling and how you can make sense of why your stress is affecting you. How long has this been affecting you? And are there any other positive changes or boundaries that you could put into place and change your circumstances for the better? One of the other psychiatrists I was reading about says, speaking to your manager about how you feel is especially important. I think it is important nowadays. And, I want to do a video. I saw somebody do a video the other day on it, on I know it was Casey Neistat. He did a video on the 6 rules that Elon Musk has for business. It's really good. And I think I'd like to do a video on that. You might also be able to use your end of the year review as a chance to calmly open up to them and explain what tasks are making you feel overwhelmed. So if you have a boss, and if not, get in front of the mirror and talk to yourself. I mean, that's what I have to do. If not, it may be helpful to schedule a one-on-one meeting. Maybe you can do that with your boss, or the best thing is to really actually get rid of your boss. I think that's the thing to do. All right, got a couple more comments here. Let me jump over there and grab those. Let's see here. Let's go to this one right here. Okay, and this is, hey, Thomas, what's going on, buddy? Hadn't seen you in a little bit. Good to see you back. According to Bill Cosby, cake has it all as well. I don't know if I would take any advice from Bill Cosby at this point. Yeah, no, he was a funny guy for many years, and then we found out who he was, and that's not good. Let's see here. Do you or Jessica do meditation regularly, or does the gym work for you as meditation? I miss my old club with pool that has my Zen time. Yeah, actually I do. And I usually do it at the gym, and I usually do it right after stretching. I will do my meditation. It's not long, it's not like I'm doing 20-minute meditations or anything like that. It may only be, 2 or 3 minutes, but yeah, I definitely do it. And I definitely do it at the gym. So yeah, it's something I do. And I recommend it, and what is meditation really? Meditation is nothing more than just trying to clear your head. And I'm telling you, that's a hard thing to do, to not think about anything. I mean, just totally clear your mind is a very, very difficult thing to do. If you don't believe me, try it after this. Try for 60 seconds to not think about anything. Set a timer and not think about anything for 60 seconds. It's very hard to do. Now, since we're talking about the exercise routine, it's usually the first thing to slip when you're feeling burnout. And it's the one thing that can make you feel better. And I love these comments, guys. Keep them coming in there. I love to hear from you guys. We all know that exercise releases endorphins. What's an endorphin? Well, it's a chemical in your brain that makes you feel better. But when we are feeling run down, we don't have the energy, right? According to some of us, to work out. But keeping active along with eating a balanced diet. And once again, it doesn't matter if you're perfect, you just try. Again, easier said than done. And I get that because of the temptations of Christmas and the holidays. Eating and exercising could be tougher. It could be, but you still try. You still try to get it done. And I think also we're tempted in December to say, well, I know I should exercise. I'm going to start doing that in January. That's going to be my New Year's resolution. But you should do it now. I mean, today is the day you should do some type of exercise. I don't care if it's just walking around the block. Just do something. These are some of the best things you can do to keep your physical and mental health at a priority during the stressful times is, eating right and exercising. There's been a lot of studies that have found that physical activity and exercise can actually reduce stress and improve your mood. I know, many times I'll go into the gym and I don't feel like going in there and I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like doing all that stuff. But when I come out, I almost always feel better, almost always. And it's that endorphins that's getting released in your brain. It also has a protective effect against conditions like depression. Depression can be staved off by exercise. It's hard to be depressed when you're on a treadmill going real fast, sweating. It's hard to do, right? Because you're concentrating on that. And depression is really concentrating on yourself. That's what depression is. It's self-concentration. And I'm not here to cure it for anybody. I mean, it's a real thing. But if you can get out of your head for a little bit, it does help. Which can really, this depression can be a long-term consequence of, prolonged burnout. If you're working up a sweat, it feels too much like even a 20-minute walk could make a world of difference, So, I mean, try it, just try it. Let's see, got another comment here. Let me pop that in there. Make sure we're getting all y'all's stuff. Gosh, I sound like a Southern person, don't I? Learning to say no to decrease stress and helps keep you healthy. It's important to put your mask on before you can help others. Yeah, and I know you don't mean the COVID mask. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that word. The world illness mask. I know you don't mean that. But I know on a flight, and I take a lot of flights, and I go a lot of places, they always say before you put your oxygen mask on other people, make sure you put it on yourself. You got to help yourself first. And I know a lot of people say, well, I help a lot of people, JR, and a lot of people depend on me, and I can't work out or do any of that stuff because I have too many people depending on me. The thing is, they can't depend on you if you're not healthy. So health is an important thing. And if I've drilled this health thing into the ground, I meant to. I want you guys to realize that. I want you to think about it. What are you doing? So ending the year with a lot of social events, can cause this burnout. It can cause further pressure. You say, well, social events are fun. They are fun and they're nice to go to, but there's the pressure of being on time. There's the pressure of looking right. There's the pressure of talking to other people. There's the pressure of dressing right or bringing the right food or whatever it may be, or being somewhere at a certain time. All those things are still pressures, even if it's a fun event. I can't count how many times I bought tickets to an event. In the event, it was that day and that night, and I'm like, oh crap, I've got to get dressed and I got to go out, and it's going to be a late night and I'm not going to get much sleep tonight. Even though the event itself was fun, you put this pressure on yourself. It can still be tense. You could also be thinking about scheduling in some rest days over your, holiday break. Try doing that. Which days are you going to be down? I know we have, like I just said, we had some relatives come into town, my daughter and her kids and her husband. And, we planned some time that was just, downtime, right? Just relaxation time. We did that. Next thing I'm going to tell you is you should breathe. You say, well, I breathe all day long, JR. You don't understand. You do probably very shallow breathing all day long. Okay. Simple breathing exercises can make a huge difference in when you're feeling overwhelmed and your thoughts are racing, and they can easily be slotted into your day by just saying, I'm going to start by taking some slow, deep breaths. That's it. You could do that in the middle of your day. You're feeling stressed out. Take a slow, really full, deep breath and hold it in and slowly let it back out again. You're going to feel stress go away from your body. You just are, because when you're stressful, you have these little short, shallow breaths. Okay. And how you act physically is how you're going to feel mentally. This is just the way it is. So start taking these slow breaths. Breathe in for 4 counts and then breathe out for 5 counts. As you're doing this, focus on the present moment and think about what you're grateful for. I have so much to be grateful for. I've been very, very fortunate. I look around all the time. And I just think, well, my God, I could be born in Ukraine and have my apartment house bombed right now and couldn't work and couldn't get food, electricity, water. You've got something probably to be thankful for. Okay. Even if you're missing some stuff you want, even if you haven't achieved what you want, even if you don't have the friends or the, partner that you want, you've probably got some stuff to be thankful for. Quit focusing on what you don't have. If you're doing this, focusing on the present moment and think about what you're grateful for, these slow breaths can help reduce the anxiety levels that you're having right now. Feeling good and feeling relaxed and feeling happy is a choice. This is a choice, guys. Your health is a choice. All day long, we make decisions. We make probably thousands of decisions in a day. From me picking up this cup and taking a sip, which I'm going to do, to me checking social media, to me doing this video here, to what I'm going to have for breakfast and lunch, and what I'm going to drink and eat, and if I'm going to exercise. All these things are decisions I make all day long. Let's see here. I got another comment there. Let me stick that up there on the screen. Mr. Paul, appreciate it, buddy. So as a kid, you hate naps. As you get older, you appreciate them. Oh my gosh, my wife and I do that so many times on Sunday. We'll look at each other like, man, I'm really tired. You tired? She's like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. And we've got this big L-shaped couch, and I'm on one side of it and she's on the other. And we just nap for 20, 30 minutes. I'm 20, 30, maybe she's an hour. Whatever works for you. And a lot of people say, well, you need to not nap for 20 minutes. You need to get a power nap. There's all kinds of people in the world, and whatever you do, whatever works for you is okay. I think that's another pressure we put on ourselves, that, we should eat a certain amount of food. We should sleep a certain amount of time. We should work a certain amount of time. We should exercise a certain amount of time. You know what? All these things are important, but they differ. They differ for different people. And I think we put added pressure on ourselves because, some expert says you need 20 minutes of aerobic exercise and you got 10 minutes and you go, oh my God, I'm really screwing this up. No, you're not. Maybe that's what you needed. Maybe that's what you needed to do. And that's okay. It's okay. You don't have to fit into these molds that everybody wants us to fit into. Let's see, Paul says, on that breathing, it's so important in controlling stress. As a firefighter or paramedic, you learn to control your breathing and conserve air as well as composed you. So it helps you to compose yourself, I'm sure is what he's saying there. Yeah, and that's a really good point, Paul. Thomas, my buddy, there you go. Making sure that we are available for all the online webinars and training can be very stressful. Getting involved in our lives, businesses, etc., and missing some can be very stressful. Man, aren't you right? Aren't you right about this? I was doing some research this morning, and I happened to come across some new software, and it's AI software, and I'm really interested in it. And I've got a lot of projects going on now. Yesterday, I was talking to a photographer, and I'm going to have her do some pictures of our canned meats. And then I hit this thing today, and I click on it, and it's an hour and a half long webinar. And I'm like, oh my God, another webinar. And it's really good, and it's great training. But sometimes we got to back off, guys. Sometimes we have to. Sometimes we've got some projects that we're just, sucking up a lot of our time. We need to move on to something that's more productive. But yeah, being there for these webinars or trainings or whatever it is, and I got a lot of them going on. I probably got 4 or 5 going on right now that I'm working on. Matter of fact, the pictures I was talking about, and the photographer I was talking about for our canned meats and foods and all that, I had taken several courses on photography. I have all the right equipment. I have lighting. I have a great kitchen. I have a course I just took on food photography, on how to style the food and do all this because I want to get these pictures. And then about a week ago, I stopped and I said, wait a second. Do I want to take all my time and do all this stuff? And what quality am I going to get out of it? Is it going to be the best quality possible? And I determined it would not be the best quality possible. So I'm hiring a photographer, and I'm going to pay somebody else to do that because I think, I'm going to spend a few $1,000s with her. But if I do it on my own, how much time is it going to take out of my daily activities to do this? Because I'm not as good at it, because I can't do it as fast. I can't edit as good as her. I don't have the equipment that she does. So I'm shipping out my products to her, and I'm going to let her come up with the pictures and see what she can do. And what I'm doing is I'm probably going to do it with 2 or 3 photographers and have them do different things. And then whenever I get back, I'm going to pick the photographer and say, this is the one. This is the one I want right here. So I got to ship that out today. That reminded me, I got to ship that out today. So yeah, guys, you can do this, the other thing I want you to think about, as we end the year is you've done a lot. You've gotten through a lot. When you come up against some obstacle and you go, oh my God, I can't handle this. I can't do this. This is too much. I'm just over it. I don't know what to do. I'm so stressed out. Think about all you've handled in your life. Take a second and look back and see what you've done. What tragedies have you, encountered? What obstacles have you overcome? What bad situations have you been in? What illnesses have you got yourself healthy from? What have you already accomplished in life? I think so many times we look at a situation and we look at that situation and we go, oh my God, I can't do it. Look at what you've done. Pat yourself on the back a little bit and say, my gosh, I've come through a lot. I know I've had a lot of close calls in my life, and I won't sit here and list them, but I mean life-threatening close calls. And I think about that and I'm like, well, I must still be here for a reason. There must be something. And I can promise you, if you're listening to this, you're here for a reason. You wouldn't just randomly be put on the earth out of all these planets and solar systems and all this. And I minored in astronomy, so I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff out there I don't understand. But you wouldn't just be here. You're here for a reason, and you're probably here to help somebody else. You're probably here to share some of your experiences. You're probably here to help guide somebody else, to make somebody else feel better. And I believe all of us kind of have that responsibility. We're here to help somebody out. That's what I'm trying to do with this video today. I'm not selling you anything. If you want to buy something, there's stuff in the comments. But no, seriously, I'm just trying to help you out, okay? And I think if we all go through life and we spend more time thinking about others and how we can help them than thinking about ourselves and what we don't have, which is what most of us do all day long. We beat ourselves up all day long about we don't have the nicest car, nicest house, nicest clothes, the perfect family, the perfect, soulmate, whatever it is. Stop it. Stop it. You don't live in Ukraine and your apartment house is not getting bombed today. Is that the worst situation in the world? No, there's still it's not the worst. There's probably somebody starving in Africa who, has got one more day to live because they have no food at all. They have nothing. But the guy who got bombed in the Ukraine, or the woman who got bombed in Ukraine in the apartment house, they got an injury. The injury is going to get better. Ukraine's definitely going to beat Russia. They're going to get those people out of there. So they've got some kind of future there. There's so many people that would trade places with you. I want you to think about that. Maybe there's somebody who's got terminal cancer. They've been fighting an illness for many, many years, and they're in just excruciating pain. They would trade with your situation. They would trade with you. Okay. So yeah, it's not so bad. Chill, take a breath, eat a little bit better. Just do your best. You don't do perfect. Do a little bit better, get to the gym, exercise on the floor. We all have gravity. We can all do sit-ups and push-ups and all that stuff. There's so many isometric exercises you can do with no equipment whatsoever. Do some stretching, do some deep breathing, and you're going to feel better. You're going to do good. Let's see here. All right, I got another comment here. Let me pop this one here in real quick. From my buddy Thomas. What does my buddy Thomas say? Maybe we do not have the best of everything, but that may mean that we do not have all the debt that goes along with it. Yeah. And you know what I figured out? I had a really big house in Virginia. It was 5,500 square feet, 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. And on the surface, you go, well, that's with 3 acres of grass. On the surface, you look at that and go, wow, that's really cool. That's neat. No, it brings on extra responsibilities. I had 3 heating and air conditioning units, and they required maintenance. So that was a lot of money. This house here has 2 units that I'm in now, and it's brand new. The house I'm brand new, it's a year and a half now. And I also had 3 acres of grass there. 3 acres of grass to cut it took about 4 hours with a 0-turn mower. So that took time out of my day to do that. Paying somebody was out of the question because it would cost hundreds of dollars a week. Okay. I now have a smaller yard. I pay somebody to mow it. So I have that time back. It's funny because I raised 2 kids, my son and my daughter. My son's job was cleaning the bathrooms, clean the toilets. And I would say, did you clean the toilets? He says, did you want me to do all 5 of them? Yeah, there were 5. So that's a big responsibility. All 5 toilets was a big responsibility. 6 bedrooms, the house was carpeted. I don't have carpet anymore. I learned my lesson. But to vacuum it, it could take you, an hour and a half to vacuum that house. So you look at that on the surface and you go, oh, wow, big house, 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 3 acres, beautiful home. It was, but it took a lot of my time just to maintain that thing. It took a lot of my time. Says, love the people here, love learning, or love hearing others. I really appreciate that, Paul. Yeah, and if you're not participating, you're not typing something in there, do it. I mean, do it. It's really helpful to all of us. We're all just getting through life just like you. None of us are any different. I think that's a big fallacy. Everybody thinks, oh my gosh, this person's so much better than me. They're so much more talented than me. They've done so much more than me. We're just all getting through life. Okay, you do you. You do what works for you. If you see some things that I'm doing and you want to emulate that, hey, more power to you. Go ahead and do it. And if you don't, that's okay too. If you just want to show up and say hello, that's great too. What else do you do to reclaim your time? That's a very good question. I think automations have a lot to do with it, but I think another thing is picking the right people. Now, when I say picking the right people, you may be hanging out with some people that aren't necessarily good for you. Maybe they're negative. Maybe they talk negative. Maybe they complain. I will cut those people out of my life. And it's not that I think I'm better than them or anything like that. It's just that I don't have room for some negative stuff going in my head. I just don't have room for it. I try to not watch negative shows. If I start to watch a show and it's making me feel bad, I have the mindset that I don't have to finish that show. I don't have to go to the end of it. I've reclaimed some time there. And I've reclaimed some mental health by not watching something that's horrible. Okay. I don't want to do that. Not that I don't look at some news and stuff, and almost all news is horrible, right? but I think selecting, your friends is very, very important. Selecting your soulmate, your husband, wife, whatever. I think that is very, very important. I've had a lot of very accomplished people say, who you pick in life really matters. Thomas says prioritize, prioritize, prioritize. Absolutely. If you got four things to do, what's the most important thing you're going to do? That will help you reclaim time. I look at all the things I can do today, and I don't want to haphazardly just do something. I want to pick what's going to, get me the best benefit, make me feel the best. Exercise is certainly one of it. I'm going to go do that today. I've talked about it a lot on this training today, but I think it's very important. Let's see here. Paul says time management ideas might be a great future live. Yeah, I think that is a good one, Paul. Maybe we'll do that on Friday. Maybe that would be a good one for Friday. I will be here Friday, I think. Let me check my schedule real quick. I want to make sure I don't have, anything in here on my schedule. And then I tell you guys I'm going to be on Friday. And I'm not here on Friday. And that's terrible. So let's see what we got here. Calendar. Friday. It looks like I'm good on Friday. So yeah, if you guys want time management, if you do, give me a thumbs up, put something in that. And when I say I'm going to do time management, I don't just talk about me. I'm going to go do research. I'm going to come up with information. I'm going to come up with ways for you guys to do time management. And it'll be good. It'll be good information because it's not all me. I don't know everything, right? I've got to do some research too. Let's see here. Thomas says, along with prioritize is to reevaluate on some regular basis. Yeah, what should you cut out? And I just mentioned cutting out friends. Now, some of you may say, well, I've got family. I can't cut them out. I said, well, no, I mean, you can technically cut them out. But if you don't want to do that, you can also cut down the amount of time you spend with a negative person, okay? If it's a negative family member, you just cut down the amount of time. You don't have to cut them out entirely. That's not necessarily Paul. Paul agrees with you, Thomas. He says you're so right. You're so right about what you're saying. Oh my gosh, I've run a little bit over, guys. I'm at 10:36. I try to cut these things off at 10:30, but it's okay. It's okay. I really want to thank you guys for being here. I mean, you've been very supportive throughout the year. I've got a lot to be thankful for, especially you guys. You guys are some super important people to me. That's what keeps this channel going. That's what keeps everything working. I wouldn't have this channel without you. Let's say, what's next event you're going to? How was Jason's event? Jason's was phenomenal. There's people, there was $1 billion people there. I'll put it that way. $1 billion people, which is really pretty interesting. We did go to, I have a video on that. I got to edit this video. I got a video on that whole event and me going there. So I'm going to get that edited and I will get that up. Matter of fact, I'll do an introduction to it right after this live today. And that way I can share it with you guys. But yeah, pretty phenomenal stuff, Paul. I can't talk about a lot of it, but I will say he's pretty heavy into mergers and acquisitions. And he does rollouts where he he puts together a whole bunch of businesses. And then he has angel investors and investors who buy the entire group of businesses. And I have talked to him about that. I don't know if I want to do anything like that, but I have talked to him about that. And if I ever did, he would be the guy I would do it through. Have a great week ahead, gang. Love everyone here. Hey guys, love you so much. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. I want you to have a great day. I will see you on Friday. We have live videos coming out every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so don't miss them. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you real soon. I guess the next live, which would be Friday. Yeah, of course.